Mia, can I ask you a question? How many times have you told yourself, I'll practice my English tonight, and then tonight never happened?
I think a lot of people listening know exactly what you mean. You start the day with good intentions, but by the evening, you're simply too tired.
That was my life for years. Every morning I believed, today's different. Tonight I'm finally going to improve my English. Then work happened. Dinner happened. Life happened. I'd sit down on the sofa for just 5 minutes, check a few messages, watch one video, and suddenly it was almost bedtime. Once again, English stayed on tomorrow's to-do list.
And I think that's where many learners get stuck. They believe they have a motivation problem.
That's exactly what I thought. Until one morning, I discovered something that completely changed the way I learned English. It didn't take an hour. It didn't require a complicated study plan. It took less than 5 minutes.
Now I'm interested. What did you do?
I'll tell you. But first, welcome to Cozy English Corner. I'm Jack.
And I'm Mia. This is the place where you can improve your English through relaxed conversations about everyday life. No pressure, no complicated grammar, just natural English you can actually use.
Today we're talking about something that completely changed the way I practice English. Not a new app, not a new course, just a different way of starting the day.
By the end of this episode, you'll know how to turn an ordinary morning into one of the easiest and most effective times to improve your English. You'll learn useful everyday expressions, discover why mornings are so powerful for language learning, and leave with a simple routine you can try tomorrow.
So grab a cup of coffee or tea, get comfortable, and let's get started. You know what's funny? For a long time, I believed I had a motivation problem. I kept saying, I need to be more disciplined. I need to try harder. But that wasn't really the problem.
So, what was?
I was asking my brain to do its hardest work at the end of the day. After work, after answering messages, after making decisions, after spending hours looking at screens. By the evening, I didn't have much energy left.
That makes perfect sense. Most of us don't realize how many decisions we make every day. What to wear, what to eat, what to reply, what to finish first. Little by little, those decisions use up our mental energy.
Exactly. So when it was finally time to study English, my brain just wanted to relax.
That's why mornings can be so powerful. Your mind feels fresher. There are fewer distractions, and it's much easier to focus for even a few minutes.
I don't wake up feeling excited to study grammar. Nobody does. But I do wake up feeling ready to think.
And that's enough. Because today's goal isn't to study for an hour. It's simply to start your day off right. That's a really common English expression. If you start your day off right, you begin the day in a positive or productive way. For example, I like to start my day off right with a short walk. Or, a healthy breakfast helps me start my day off right.
For me, starting my day off right doesn't mean waking up at 5 o'clock or having a perfect morning. It simply means giving my brain a few minutes of English before the rest of the world becomes noisy.
And here's another expression you'll hear all the time. Make the most of. It means to use something in the best possible way. Imagine you only have 10 free minutes before work. Instead of thinking, that's not enough time, you can make the most of those 10 minutes. Listen to a podcast, think in English, review yesterday's vocabulary. Small moments can make a big difference.
That idea completely changed how I looked at learning. I stopped waiting for long study sessions. Instead, I started making the most of the time I already had.
Can I ask everyone listening a question? When do you usually practice your English? In the morning? During your lunch break? Late at night? Or maybe only at the weekend? There's no perfect answer, but if your evening routine isn't working, maybe you don't need more motivation. Maybe you just need a different time of day.
And now, let's talk about something almost everyone does within the first minute after waking up. It might be the biggest habit stopping your English from improving. Mia, can I guess what most people listening did within the first minute after waking up today?
Go ahead.
They reached for their phone.
I think you're probably right. Many of us do it without even thinking.
Exactly. And that's today's next expression. We do it on autopilot. If you do something on autopilot, you do it automatically, without really thinking about it. For example, I drove home on autopilot because I was thinking about work. Or, I always make coffee on autopilot every morning.
Checking your phone isn't bad, but when it's the very first thing you do every morning, your brain immediately starts thinking about messages, news, emails, and social media. Before you've even had breakfast, your attention is already somewhere else.
A few months ago, I tried something different. I made one simple rule. Before touching my phone, I had to think one sentence in English. That's all. One sentence.
Only one?
Only one. Sometimes it was, I'm still sleepy. Sometimes, it's going to be a busy day. Or, I hope the weather stays nice. Nothing complicated. No dictionary. No translating. Just one natural thought.
And that's actually a very effective way to practice. A lot of learners believe they have to speak out loud to improve. Speaking is important, but it usually starts with thinking. The faster you learn to think in English, the less you depend on translating every sentence from your first language.
That's something I never understood before. Whenever I wanted to say something in English, my brain had to make two trips. First, I created the sentence in my own language. Then, I translated it into English. It felt slow and sometimes stressful.
Thinking directly in English removes one of those steps. It won't happen overnight, but every short thought is practice. Every morning, you're teaching your brain English is normal. Not only during lessons, not only while watching videos, but during real life.
And the great thing is, you don't need perfect grammar. If you don't know a word, use easier words. Describe the idea instead. Keep your thoughts moving. That's much better than stopping every few seconds to look something up.
Tomorrow morning, before you unlock your phone, try this little challenge. Look around your room. Choose 3 things you can see. Now describe them in English. Maybe it's your bed, your window, your coffee mug, or simply the weather outside. 1 minute is enough.
It might feel a little strange at first, but after a few mornings, you'll notice something interesting. Thinking in English starts to feel more natural. And that's the first real step towards speaking more naturally, too.
Now that we've changed the first 5 minutes of the morning, let's make the rest of the morning work for your English as well. So far, we've only talked about the first few minutes after waking up. But here's the good news. You don't have to stop there. Your whole morning is full of opportunities to practice English.
Even if my mornings are busy?
Especially if they're busy. Because we're not talking about adding new tasks. We're talking about changing the way you do the things you're already doing.
I like the sound of that. So, where do we begin?
Let's start with coffee, or tea, or breakfast, whatever your morning looks like. While you're waiting for the kettle to boil or your coffee to brew, describe what you're doing. I'm making coffee. The water is boiling. I'm looking for my keys. I need to leave in 20 minutes. Simple sentences, real life. That's the kind of English you'll actually use.
I used to think practice only counted if I was sitting at a desk with a notebook. Now I realize that wasn't true at all. Some of my best practice happens while I'm doing something else.
Exactly. And that's because you're beginning to build a habit. That's today's next expression. When you build a habit, you slowly create a routine by repeating the same action again and again. For example, I'm trying to build a habit of reading every morning. Or, she built a habit of going for a walk after dinner. Notice something important. Habits aren't created in one day. They're built little by little.
That takes away a lot of pressure. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up.
Right. And here's another expression you'll hear very often. Get into the habit of. It means that something becomes a regular part of your life. For example, I've got into the habit of listening to English podcasts on my way to work. Or, try to get into the habit of thinking in English every morning. It's a great expression because you can use it with almost any activity.
I think that's exactly what happened to me. At first, I had to remind myself to think in English. Now it happens almost automatically. When I'm making breakfast, I notice myself thinking, I need more milk. I should leave a little earlier today. It's going to be hot this afternoon. I don't even plan it anymore.
That's because your brain is making a new connection. Instead of separating English from everyday life, you're connecting English with things you already do. There's actually a simple idea behind this. Instead of creating a brand new routine, attach English to an existing one. If you always make coffee, listen to 2 minutes of English while it's brewing. If you always walk the dog, describe what you can see around you. If you drive to work, talk to yourself in English for part of the journey.
You know what's funny? I spent years saying, I don't have enough time to practice English. But I did have time. I just wasn't using it. Now, my morning feels almost like a mini English class without opening a textbook.
And that's exactly what we want. Learning English shouldn't always feel like sitting in a classroom. The more naturally English becomes part of your daily routine, the easier it becomes to remember new words, think more quickly, and speak with confidence. You're not looking for extra hours. You're simply building small habits that become part of your morning, one day at a time.
Can I admit something? I've started learning English more times than I can count.
Really? I thought you had your routine all figured out.
But before that, I made the same mistake again and again. I'd get really excited. I'd make a huge plan. Tomorrow morning, I was going to study grammar, learn 30 new words, watch an English video, read an article, listen to a podcast, and practice speaking, all before work.
That sounds very ambitious.
It did, for about 2 days. Then I missed one morning. After that, I missed another. And before I knew it, I had stopped completely.
I think that's something many learners experience. The problem usually isn't a lack of motivation. It's trying to change everything at once. Big routines often look exciting, but they're very difficult to keep. Small routines may seem less impressive, but they're much easier to repeat.
That's exactly what I discovered. Doing 5 minutes every morning doesn't feel difficult. And because it doesn't feel difficult, I actually do it.
Which brings us to today's next expression. Stick to something. If you stick to something, you continue doing it, even when it isn't always easy. For example, it's hard to stick to a new routine at first. Or, she stuck to her study plan for 3 months. Learning English isn't about having one perfect day. It's about sticking to your routine for weeks and months.
I like that expression because it reminds me that success isn't about being perfect. It's about coming back the next day.
Yes, and here's one more useful expression. Fall behind. If you fall behind, you aren't making as much progress as you expected, or other people move ahead of you. For example, I missed a few lessons, so I fell behind. Or, don't worry if you fall behind, just keep going. But here's something important. Missing one morning doesn't mean you've fallen behind. It simply means you missed one morning. That's all.
I used to think, well, I missed today, so I'll start again next Monday. Then next Monday became next month. Now I tell myself something much simpler. I'll continue tomorrow. No guilt, no starting over, just one small step forward.
That's the mindset that helps people improve. Not perfection, not motivation, consistency. Some mornings you'll have 20 minutes. Some mornings you'll only have 2. Both count. Because every time you think in English, listen to English, or use one new expression, you're building the kind of routine that lasts.
And when small actions become part of your everyday life, learning English stops feeling like another task on your to-do list. It simply becomes part of your morning.
And before we finish today's episode, let's see how many useful expressions we've learned together and give you one simple challenge to try tomorrow morning.
Let's imagine tomorrow morning. The alarm goes off. Instead of reaching for your phone, you decide to start your day off right. Maybe you take a deep breath. Maybe you think one sentence in English. It's a small change, but it's a good beginning.
You don't need an extra hour before work. You simply make the most of the time you already have. 5 or 10 minutes can be enough when you use them well.
And remember, don't check your phone on autopilot. Pause for a moment. Look around. Think in English before the rest of the day begins.
Little by little, you'll build a habit. Not in one morning, not in one week, but every small step makes the next one easier.
Soon, you'll get into the habit of thinking in English while making coffee, walking to work, or getting ready for the day. One day you'll notice you're doing it without even trying.
Some mornings won't go as planned. That's completely normal. The important thing is to stick to your routine as often as you can. Progress isn't about being perfect. It's about coming back again and again.
And if you miss one morning, don't think you've fallen behind. You haven't. Just continue the next day. One missed morning doesn't erase all the mornings before it.
Surround yourself with English, not only during lessons, not only when you're watching a podcast like this one, but while you're living your everyday life. That's where real progress begins.
So here's today's Cozy Morning Challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, think one sentence in English. While you're making breakfast or coffee, listen to a few minutes of English. Choose one thing around you and describe it in your own words. That's it. No pressure. No perfect routine. Just one better morning.
Learning English doesn't always happen during long study sessions. Sometimes it happens while you're waiting for the kettle to boil, looking out of the window, or putting on your shoes. Those small moments matter more than you think.
And if you can make English part of your morning, there's a good chance it'll become part of your life.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, we'd love to know. What's one small thing you're going to do differently tomorrow morning? Share it with us in the comments. And if this episode helped you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Cozy English Corner for more relaxed English conversations.
Thanks for spending part of your morning with us. Take care, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, and stay cozy.